storied career.
Very true.
Yeah, such a storied career that, you know, if you get paired up with this guy, you feel like you're going to want to pick his brain a fair amount.
Absolutely. We'll see what he can do now in that bot lane with Jurassic on the side of Golden Guardians Academy. Jarvan getting banned out here as we are in picks and bans for Game 3. Thanks for sticking with us. We got a few more to go for the day as the Academy League kicks off here for 2018.
It's a very exciting time. Get the first look of what will hopefully be the future of player development here in North America. And a lot of new names in this game. The other games had a couple more, you know, veterans and even people who didn't qualify under like the veteran status or people you had seen a fair amount before.
Right.
Here, it's a lot more new players. I mean, Moon is probably the only guy with Special that you're going to recognize. So, you know, 80% new players here in a way of thinking about it.
And you can tell Moon is in the Game 1 by his name. It's pretty easy, but Evelyn ban on the side of Golden Guardians.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a tell when you saw that. He absolutely tore the LCS apart a little bit when he got that champion. So people don't want it. It is a meta right now, actually, in some way. It's not quite as popular as something like a Jarvan or a Sejuani, but it's getting played in regions across the world and has a fair amount of early game impact.
Yeah, very true. Kind of getting charmed up. You're like, nope, get away, run, back, 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 back. Becomes such a common word now whenever that happens. A little terrifying. Kalista Rise Jarvan, as we saw on the side of Clutch Gaming, and a final ban here for Golden Guardians. What do they want to take away? What do they feel Clutch Gaming will prioritize?
Well, we'll have to see. It will be Zoe again. We've seen a lot of Zoe bans.
But that Ornn, it's left up.
The Ornn is up. We'll have to see how highly they prioritize it. Kog'Maw being another thing
also
that
left up.
Yeah, had seen a lot of attention. Gonna go over here first pick. Ornn is interesting because I think a lot of people in North America see it as like this all-powerful top laner, but we've seen it in Korea, for example, often falling to the second portion of the draft phase. So here in North America, we'll have to see what they choose to do with it.
Side of Golden, maybe.
Maybe.
3 seconds left on this. Potluck has the choice after. Maybe get something that will synergize with that Ornn on the top side for jungle, or leave that for Bobkin to pick after seeing the next two.
Jungle would be a pretty understandable pick here with the Jarvan already thrown out and Sejuani being up. We've seen this a number of times where you try and get that slight mismatch. But as we saw Katie improve, you know, it's not just a draft strategy. You have to execute on it as well. And if you get forced onto a Kha'Zix, but you get 6 kills, did they really punish you?
I don't know about that.
No.
That's the rope-a-dope. You think you got him, and they just come right back at you. Braum locked in. You see these final two, I should say, for first phase here. Moon and Sun to lock it in.
Pretty interesting story between those two guys. Sun being ZX, if you've heard of him during your viewing of streams or even following Moon on Twitter, they have a pretty storied bromance. Always sharing their snaps and tweets with each other. It's very interesting.
You said Zed? Name was Zed?
Yeah, right as I said it. Still, you can kind of see of a Zed player who's going to name themselves Zed. They have a very aggressive mindset. LeBlanc, Zed, Yasuo, maybe one of those thrown in there. Instead, going for the team pick of GP right away.
All right, so a little global pressure here if they do need to get some assists on these ultimates coming in from Sun. Not too much protection for that Kog'Maw just yet. Tom Kench has been a pickup if you don't see the shields around the board, and they still have that option. But what comes in now? More tank with that tank on the top side, and it is possibly Sejuani. 2 seconds left.
Yep, Clutch Gaming deciding that they don't want the Sejuani. It's in this position now where if Golden Guardians don't take it with their last pick, it's pretty likely to get banned out in the second phase. Decide it's the right time to spring on that pick and grab it. Fair amount of targets to throw these at. I mean, Kog'Maw, notoriously immobile. Malzahar, yes, he has that annoying spell shield, but you can break that off pretty quickly with an Ornn ultimate to set up a long-range Sejuani.
Yeah.
There's a lot of combo tools that, while it is annoying to initially engage on a Malzahar, if you can break that off, he becomes very, very immobile, and Sejuani will have another nice target.
Zach taken out. Could see that focus going on to Moon. Jarvan's already been taken out of the game, and we have seen Kha'Zix in the last few plays. Clutch Gaming trying to figure out what would be that next pick, and they're going to focus the 80 carries as they should.
Yeah, I mean, Moon is historically known as a player who does fit under that kind of young, aggressive NA jungler. You know, you hear that a lot more than young, tanky, supportive NA jungler. So he'll probably end up on one of those picks, much like, you know, his buddy Acadian did in the last game. Probably wants to show him up as well. Both of them having played in the LCS, having honestly pretty good splits last year. Not going to get the chance on Kha'Zix, though.
Not going to get that Kha'Zix. See what he goes to. We've seen a few Gragas's around still, rolling around the map. And now the final ban for Clutch Gaming here. 13 seconds left, seeing a very tanky team with surefire initiation on the side of Golden Guardians. What could be that final ban? Callista's gone, so it's going to be the Ezreal next.
Yep, I like that decision a lot. Callista's banned out. They banned the Triss. Ezreal is such a power pick. It wouldn't make sense to ban the other two and not ban that one out as well. This forces him on down the list a fair amount. Hovering the Xayah right now. We've seen things like Caitlyn as well. There are enough other champions that you can take using that fleet footwork mastery with the overheal combination. Most likely going to go with the Xayah.
Everybody healing. Healing, shields, almost extending the games a little bit, but still fast if you have a 7-0 Kha'Zix.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, bot lane is almost always focused on, like, I don't want to die, I want to farm, and that's kind of how the meta and competitive play always veers. And
Doublelift was right.
Yeah. Not always.
Don't give him that credit. Don't go too far. Flip's waiting for the lock-in now. They see the Xayah. There's the Tahm Kench. They get to save the Kog'Maw a little bit, but that Tahm Kench has a lot of crowd control he has to work through to save that Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and I think you had a great call saying that, you know, these two combo together very well. The biggest weakness of Kog'Maw being his immobility, and Tahm Kench does a great job covering that up. And I was surprised to see them not target it in the second phase of the draft. You know, potentially trying to get that one out. You know, the jungle was instead the focus, and it pushes Moon down to Hecarim.
I like it. All right. We'll have to see what he runs as well. If he goes to Predator and just tries to run people down and just be a nuisance on that. We said early game aggression, but actually now he fits a little bit of tank in there.
Yeah, he finds a way to do that. We'll be very interested to see what they're doing. I mean, Hecarim early on was a big abuser of like the Dark Harvest when it was generally considered overpowered. He used the Predator. He had a very different kind of rune setup than some of these other ones. So he's a champion I'm going to be very interested to see how he chooses to do it, along with the build path. You know, a lot of people going Triforce right away, things like that. And it's a tough team comp to pull it off with. I mean, there is not a ton of pressure on this map for the side of Clutch Gaming.
Very interesting composition. Everybody running through. You're going to have a Hecarim on the back line. Malzahar's trying to stand still in the cannon barrage while Kog'Maw's running around. Very interesting points of focus here. And Golden Guardians can kind of, with this composition, choose any one of those three if they want.
Yeah, I mean, Talia's going to have a lot of map mobility, pushing in. It could be kind of annoying for the Hecarim. We'll have to see. It's two very, very different team comps here.
As we get almost into the game, we are going into game 3 of the day, Clutch Gaming versus Golden Guardians Academy, and we are on to the Rift. We'll have to see how these teams can do. Forgot their results yesterday. I have it right here. I know Golden Guardians went down. They went down to Cloud9, and Clutch Gaming went down to Echo Fox. A pretty quick game by Echo Fox as well. So both teams looking to shore up that loss and looking to find a little bit of an advantage here today.
Yep, and like I said, I like Golden Guardians team comp a little bit more. It is very standard in the sense, tank in the top lane, tank in the jungle, tank at support, 2 damage threats with Talia and Xayah. And I like that into, you know, the side that Clutch Gaming has here, where it is not normal by any means. I mean, GP is coming back meta very strong, but is a champion that needs time to work up. Hecarim seen much the same way, really not a huge threat until level 6. Malzahar the same way, and even then, Talia will have a general strength in pushing. So they don't have a ton of obvious places to go.
Let's see, stopwatches, the Materializer on the side of Max Trobo. Like pretty even starts here. Sun as well with that minion Materializer, so we can get his pushes going and make it a lot easier for his laning phase.
Yeah, and it's something that definitely works well against Talia and even can work well with Talia. She's so focused on her, you know, impact on the game being around pushing, being able to roam around the map, use her passive, use her ultimate, that if you can start getting the push against her with the minion dematerializers, it becomes very annoying. She has a harder time dealing with cannon creep, so on that wave is when you'll see a lot of people actually use the dematerializer to kind of neutralize some of those pushes, so you don't have to deal with that stronger cannon minion yourself.
No aggression onto Raptors. Oh, just a ward for red so they can get an idea of where Moon is in the early game. Hecarim easy getting out some early ganks, and they'd like to prevent that here.
And I believe that is an unsealed spellbook on the Hecarim, if I can see it correctly. Not quite sure with the range. Need better vision, but We'll take a look at that again in a second.
Indeed is.
Yeah.
So he's looking to switch this one out. Has his ghost for now. Might actually teleport home guard some plays. Maybe 20 minutes in. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what he's aiming to do. I mean, one of the strengths with the unsealed spellbook you typically see is that you have your flash. That's kind of the staple, and then you move things around. Ghost is often seen much the same way on Hecarim, so I'd be surprised if you took that off, and then as a jungler, you kind of need that smite, so I'm not exactly sure what he's going to end up swapping off to here.
Oh, down in Potluck. Looking to make it a party on the bot side. Probably going to find a flash from Eclipse here, but they wait for Vulcan to get the Devourer first. The safety is there, but he gets locked up. That's what we were talking about. Can he get through the crowd control? Heal coming in now from Eclipse. So they do use 2 summoners to get themselves to safety. I believe they might have seen Moon just on the edge. No, they don't have vision, so they just walk out.
A good gank there, though, unfortunately, actually results in a loss of summoners on the side of Golden Guardians. I mean, Clutch Gaming, the power of that Tahm Kench, able to basically trade out summoners effectively. You get to keep them on your AD carry. Your Tahm Kench unfortunately loses them, but hey, it's much better that way. And it's a 2-for-2 summoner trade overall.
Oh, smashing in and just taking Max Trobo down. A little bit of that extra brittle damage from the passive. Jenkins knows what he's doing on that top side. Also, as we were just talking about that bottom, it is an ignite for Vulcan here to an exhaust, so they have the kill pressure if they just want to walk up on to Jurassic and get that kill down with his summoners out.
Definitely something that could happen in the future. It's unfortunate they don't have like a flash to start it off very nicely. That would be ideal, but if Hecarim can find an angle, pre-6, the defensive capabilities of the Xayah are much lower without that invulnerability from her ultimate. Hecarim gets in there, knocks her back. Very easy to follow up on that with the rest of Tahm Kench's abilities.
Looks like Jenkins already got himself a quick purchase. Takes about 4 seconds in lane. He's able to just kind of hang out if he's not taking damage to be stopped from that. And Ornn does Ornn.
Yeah, Ornn's doing Ornn things. Surprisingly, having a grasp as opposed to unsealed spellbook. It's something you often see with the Ornn's take. They can win a lot of lane matchups very, very strong. So you see them take Ignite to increase their kill threat. Sejuani wanted to go up there and gank against the GP. It would be a very powerful combination, and then they'll swap it later for the teleport. And even in some losing matchups, you see them take Exhaust instead with that unsealed spellbook. Here, going for, I guess, a little bit less of a feast or famine kind of route, you could argue, where you're going to get guaranteed value from that grass proc. But it is a little different than what we have been seeing frequently in some of the other regions with that Ornn pick.
It's actually something that Max Trobo played against yesterday. I believe he was on the Vladimir, and still the Ornn came out on top. It was such a tough lane for him. So at least he's getting used to it. He'll know exactly what to do as the season goes on. Yeah,
definitely going to get more experience against that champion. Barring some nerfs, he's been left untouched for a little while now, though.
Indeed. We'll see what kind of impact he can create as we now head down to the middle part of the map. 5.5 minutes in. A little bit of love for vision around the dragon area as the jungles are clean, and they're really not gankable lanes at the moment. Everybody's kind of right in the middle. There'll be too much pressure or aggression. Waiting. In the wings.
Indeed. And Sun already using all his minion dematerializers. They set up a potential play here.
He's going to hide off on the side.
And yeah, it was interesting, his CS is completely even. And I guess one way to look at it is, I stayed even versus Taliyah.
Gets pushed out, pushed back with the ultimate on. Finds a way to escape through the top side of mid brush, though. Throws down that unraveled earth. And it looks like he may be able to get himself in a decent position. They do not knock him off the wall. Bobkin finds his way out of a good gank mid.
Yeah, really well played there in some unfortunate circumstances on the side of Clutch Gaming. The Hecarim E pulling the Taliyah back out of the GP ultimate, so I don't think there's any damage from that. And then the ultimate from Taliyah not able to get interrupted, barely gets out of there. Well played by Bob, staying alive, and gets the first flash ultimate out of Sun with nothing really lost.
I like that. I'm going to call him just Bob every time I get the chance. Good job, Bob. It was a well-done play. He feels pretty good about that. He'll come back to lane, hopefully still feeling good if he doesn't get another gank. You see this taking a bit of a turn here as Jenkins goes in under a big wave.
get chunked out a little bit, but plenty of sustain available with the grass and the Doran shield on his side.
So scary, those cooldowns as well. You really can't even approach. Focusing more with the Glacial Shroud to start things off so he can just keep spitting out spells and damage along with that brittle passive when it procs. A bit of a spike here we could see for Clutch Gaming coming in once a few of these Triforces are finished. Might be able to flex their muscles a little bit if they time that right.
Absolutely, and already GP scaling up a fair amount, even in CS. Got that Sheen, got his Kleptomancy going.
Stack it up.
So much gold these days.
Good old bank plank.
No longer able to run the gold for 5 runes anymore, though. That's the sad part. You can see there, about a 400 gold lead, just off being gangplanked. And it's interesting too against Ornn, a champion who kind of enables hyperscaling with this passive of being able to upgrade some items in extra time. You know, it's something that doesn't factor into every competitive game. A lot of them do end before you really get to see those extra upgrades coming in. But it is a bit of a nice safety net in some ways, where if you get into one of those hyper late game situations where your 80 carries maxed out.
I can't do anything else. I've hit my max.
It's like, yeah, you got a little bit extra gold now to throw at some items.
That is pretty cool. A lot of times you hardly even remember it, or as you said, the game just ends before that. See how far we get into this one. We did talk a little bit about that meta. The heals, the shields, you can see relics in the bot lane as it keeps everybody a bit more healthy in the early game if the ganks start flying through. Blue over to Bobkin. He's back to lane, feeling pretty good, but Summoner's just about half up. And escaping that first gank means we have no kills on the board yet.
Yep, no kills. And like you said, a very, very stable bot lane. 2 melee supports. They did have that one attempt down there, didn't quite work. Lost the Summoner's been playing safer since then, and with the fleet footwork, Relic Shield starts with overheal. It becomes very hard to make poke really stick down there. You have so many healings through your runes item setup that you just end up sustaining through a lot of stuff. You get the quest, so you start getting more shields completed onto your 80 carry. And it's one of the roles that is the most about consistency of all roles. You know, the 80 carry needs to be able to consistently put out damage. And you can't die often in the early game and get blown out and be an item behind. You usually don't have enough utility to make up for that kind of gold deficit. So it's no surprise to see that once people kind of mathed out how stable this was compared to things like press the attack and some other more offensive options, that in the competitive scene, this is what people start defaulting to.
See if any action does start to spring from the bot lane. Mistakes can be made. The flashes are also back up here for Jurassic. You see it back from Potluck. Got eyes on Moon on the map, and it looks like it's just hovering around towards his Krugs. Again, no real position for them to get in, other than Bobchin in the middle. Was saying Bobkin. We will not say Bobchin. That's what it is.
It's been something that's been confounding people for years. Having followed him in the collegiate scene for a little while.
Always.
Having talked to other pros who play against him in Challenger all the time, I rarely hear a consistent pronunciation, but it is Bobchin, let the record state.
Well, the best one is when you get to Worlds and players that have kind of not been to Worlds or in that scene, you're like, how do we say your name? And you're like, well, what sounds cooler? And then it like changes for Worlds. So you're like, wait a minute.
Uzi most famously, I believe, was a case of that where, you know, Riot Ops asked, you know, how do you want your name pronounced? And some players don't even answer it correctly. They just write their name again as opposed to...
Indeed.
Yeah. Anyways, a little off topic here. Golden Guardian's going to try and force down onto this Infernal Dragon.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Oh, maybe. I'm going to say they throw something over the wall, but it doesn't give any trouble over to Golden Guardians. They pick up an Infernal. Kind of helps spark a little bit more damage. Nicely for Jenkins, too, to be doing more damage in that top lane. The work ground is pretty much all over here for Bobchin. He doesn't look like he's going to be going hard anytime soon. Junglers, little tit for tat as they find each other, but that information is now given to the other lanes. It looks like they just stay calm with that info.
Yeah, and I'm watching Moon pretty closely to try and figure out exactly where he's going to go with this unsealed spellbook. In the inspiration tree, Hecarim is very interested in stopwatch and boots, but you can get that just by taking it as a secondary, which is usually what I believe people do. And I thought that they were taking, you know, the hunt. Oh, hold on here.
Flash out, heal coming in from Bobchin. Doesn't use the ultimate, and that's the second time we've seen Clutch Gaming try to set up in that top rush.
Yeah, well, we were talking about how Taliyah was going to be the most targeted member on the side of Clutch Gaming here, and we thought Talia should get on the map and force action, but if she's just going to live and absorb the other team's pressure while her side lanes do well, I mean, that's acceptable as well. And like I was saying, with Hecarim, you do want the free boots and you want the stopwatch, but you can get those going secondary and focus on another tree if you want. And I just am not exactly sure what the Unsealed Spellbook is going to do for him yet, but we'll hold judgment off until we see a little more.
Ryu just likes to read, man.
I mean, there's also a potential third rune that he's taking that's not one of the keystone ones that's very important, he thinks, and I'm just not sure what he's taken. Definitely going to be one of the games that I look at the post-match, you know, analysis thread to see exactly what people are going to speculate on.
What's Moon doing? I mean, right? Moon was in the LCS. Definitely has an idea behind this, you would think.
I mean, he's always been a bit of an innovator.
Absolutely. That's a good point.
Yeah, he was really crazy on the Evelynn train for a long time, one of the only people to play it, and he dominated people with it, and it was, you know, his pocket pick. Maybe he's setting up Hecarim to have a similar reputation here in the Academy.
It's going to explode. We'll see in a second. Forgiving over blue. There it is. Sun grabs blue. 13.5 in. We are off and running. Now we'll see what they can continue to pressure, as that has been very light from both teams here in the early game. It is a Mountain Drake, and Drake is already in favor of Golden Guardians. It looks like they are setting up that vision once again, just to have a little bit on red and figure out if Moon is ever leaving or crossing the river from his jungle.
Yeah, like, pretty good vision control for both sides here. Hold on.
That's that. I'll be okay to walk this path. I won't take too much damage.
Get a little panic. Blood rate spikes a little bit for a second.
Oops. Oh, Potluck. Dangerous situation here, but he does have safety in Special just behind him. Looks like he just wants to harass a little bit and call attention from the bot lane. Starting to get a little bit of movement here, but it doesn't look like it's going to put anybody in a scary situation. Sun a little late on the roam, but he was there if need be.
Right, and 15 minutes in, both AD carries hitting their first major item power spike with the Ginsu's on the side of Clutch Gaming's Eclipse. And we have Jurassic grabbing that Essence Reaver. And so far, it seems like he's had the push advantage, which is why you see a little bit more play focused on the bot side, on the side of Golden Guardians Academy, trying to find a way to break this game open. Potluck returning down there again, but it is just so difficult to find that backbreaking play that we saw last game, but against Tahm Kench.
1, 2, 3 on this bot lane turret. Good bit of damage as they actually throw down the cannon barrage. A rotation as well coming in from Gangplank. And Potluck looks like he's going to be going down. They are going over to Special, but they say, nah, just kidding. We're going to turn around and take him down. First Blood going over to Clutch Gaming, and it's the ultimate coming in onto Bobchin in the mid lane. He gets himself to safety just in time. Malefic Visions, and here comes Max Trobo for the kill.
Max Trobo getting involved in 2 lanes that aren't even his own right away on GP.
Abyssal Voyage to the mid lane, get this cleared up, and get the turret pushed.
Really explosive, you know, kind of mid-game here for Clutch Gaming. Golden Guardians are a little telegraphed in their play down the bot side. They have the GP ult to dissuade the push coming in, and then Special gets tagged with a couple too many stacks of the Tahm Kench passive, allowing the Flash Devour to bring them back into Moon, who was collapsing. So here you see them starting out, the GP ultimate comes in, they realize they can't continue this, and excuse me, it was Potluck who had the 2 stacks on him, gets the 3rd applied, and now the Flash Devour is able to set him up, spit him right back into Moon, who's coming in, while also Potluck trying to survive with that stopwatch, doesn't get it. And during this time, it looked like Bobchin wanted to get involved, but Sun had that cut off, and Max Trobo, not even in top lane, roaming mid.
There's Max Trobo making use of that Triforce build as well. Just got it. Said my lane's a bit pushed. I'm going to roam after that cannon barrage. Comes up nice. Like you said, 1-0-1. Didn't have to participate in more than one fight.
Yeah, great map play overall. I mean, it's pretty easy as GP to fall into this mindset of like, I'm farming, I'm happy, I farm faster than other people.
Can't wait to queue or barrel someone.
Yeah, and oh, you need help in the bot lane? Okay, I'll ult down there, but it's not common to see that GP roam, and it really caught Bobchin off guard.
The Talia wall. He throws it out. Oh, Eclipse not on the right side of that one. He's going to be a sad puppy, but just enough range there for Vulcan. Requires a safety taste for Eclipse and devours him.
Saves the flash on Eclipse yet again. Very nice to see, but the turret does drop, evening that out, resulting in a 1K gold lead for the side of Clutch Gaming Academy.
And a plethora, however you want to say it, put the syllable where you want, of pink words now coming in the side of Golden Guardians Academy. See where they place those, quite telling if they place them forward, things they want to protect, or if it's just for kind of keeping their jungle under wraps. And right now it looks like they're a bit forward, but definitely protected.
Yeah, I mean, Mountain Dragon just respawned. You think Fair Mountain's going to get allocated there, but hold on.
Oh, hello! The Abyssal Voyage right under the feet of Bobchin. It was almost like a fish chum the waters. Potluck already used that stopwatch earlier. He goes down. And Clutch Gaming is working off of little things that happened just a bit ago and continuing those advantages.
Yeah, really tough game here. Like we said, there is going to be a lot of focus in the mid lane. Good job surviving the first two, but things starting to come off the rails for Bob Jin here. Lost his mid turret means it's a lot less safe in the mid lane. And his team has a ton of pink wards. They know the Dragon's coming up and they want to set up for it, but it looks like Clutch Gaming just got the jump on them here. Able to find the pick off on the mid laner before the enemy team could properly set up.
Great wards too. You see the deep ward in mid, allowing them to know if Bob Chin did make it out, as well as just around here to see where they need to chase and when they don't need to chase. Something we should be paying attention to with his academy teams is when they know to stop and when something's a little too good.
Yeah, I got to trim solo queue habits in the bud.
There you go.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Nib?
Nip. That's the word I was looking for.
Got it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. You chase all over the map. You got to learn not to do that there. Be happy with that 1-2 kills and go to that dragon. Get the objective, reset on the map, and keep the pressure up.
Jenkins, pretty quiet game on the top side. Does have a 30 CS lead, but not the map pressure we've been seeing from Max Trobo. Still Ken Orn. We'll have to see what happens when he gets out of lane. That's actually just happening now with a few of those turrets falling. So we'll see who has the better map movement here to set back up, kind of start to control this mid game. 4-0 puts Clutch Gaming in the driver's seat.
Absolutely, they're going to have pressure for a good bit here now. But we've seen that before in the first game of the day. TSM had pressure, quickly lost that when they started moving to flip their vision priority to the Baron area. It's still a little early for that. But teams having the bot turret down, now Clutch Gaming focusing on the top side.
Both Triforces now done for Moon and Max Trobo. Doesn't look like they're synergizing those at all, as they're just going to pick up the rest of the resources on the map before they move forward. Pink ward just behind their red to keep things safe, and the top laners now to the bot side of the map. See how this push starts to work it out. Teleport's becoming a little bit more important now as we get to that 20-minute Baron mark.
Yep, looks like Rift Herald will not get taken here, unfortunately for her, not involved in this fight. Baron spawns right as you see side of Golden Guardians trying to get some vision control around it. They don't want any kind of sneaky play to happen.
Sun's been the one to activate, and they actually say from Clutch Gaming, we want this fight. You have walked into the frying pan. Clutch Gaming turning this one around, one barrel set down, but it looks like, again, they call it off. They say we may have a little more damage, but we have positioning now, and they'll use that.
And they're going to start off this Baron as well. A lot of damage here on the side of Clutch Gaming. Basically, all 4 members that are not support have great Baron damage. They're going to start trying to focus this one down. Working, Talia trying to wall them in.
Walled in, they're dodging out a lot of the damage, but they need to block the wall to get it back. Call the Forge God in, both knocked airborne, and the damage is huge. Moon's able to capitalize on a few health bars, but Clutch Gaming is falling left and right as the Golden Guardians are able to find the primary targets. Gotta watch for Sun coming back in from the line. Max Trouble can't even get in to put another barrel down, but there's the Q he was looking for, and isn't even the benefactor of that kill, beneficiary I should say. They are able to pick up a few more kills and an overall 2 for 3. Still going on to Max Trobo, gets the orange in. Everything's gonna be okay.
Trade of flashes there between top laners on the tail end of a 3 for 2 in favor of Golden Guardians, but the Baron did go down. Nice Talia wall to try and kick things off. Ends up breaking it to allow his team to get in range, and then a good Ornn ult to kind of get onto the double backline members. This is what we're saying about why Ornn can work really well into Malzahar. First can break the shield, and the second half will do the knockups. They finish the Baron off, but they've all gotten down fairly low, and Bob, Chin, and you see Jurassic fairly healthy. Bob starts getting focused down on by Vulcan. He'll eventually drop as Sun finishes him off. That's going to allow the flash over by Jurassic to pick that one up. Overall, really nice play by Golden Guardians. They were just not quite able to punish fast enough. If they could have got the Ornn ultimate in there just a little bit faster, maybe they can get some DPS down before that Baron dropped.
Well, Clutch Gaming now working with a bit of that for 2 more minutes. See where they can put this pressure. Top lane's going to be pushed out, or pushed in, I should say. That's Max Trobo going up there. So even with this fight here, they could have a turret on the other side. Moon throws down the ultimate, and the onslaught is enough to pick up another kill. Potluck's forced to run home.
Yeah, Moon's been pretty on point here with his Hecarim ult. In the fight that led to that Baron happening, he initially had a really nice charge, forcing people back into the GP ult from the Fear, and that kept a lot of damage down on the Potluck, which eventually led to that kill. Smites down in that Baron Force situation. Once again there, finding good angles onto members of Golden Guardians Academy.
Again, great use of that power spike here coming in from top and mid lane, and it does not look like they'll stop just yet. Stepping forward, it looks like the fight is being tempted. Eclipse gets knocked in, devoured immediately, and this is the danger he can play with on the front line, but they also have to leave a little bit to escape. It looks like they'll have that distance.
Scary situation there, but a nice save by Vulcan. Keeps him alive, but they felt enough pressure to not want to keep going down on that mid inhibitor turret. Gonna reset. With only a minute left on Baron, they might not have a chance to actually break a bot, or excuse me, an inhibitor turret here.
Yeah, the map getting switched around with that first turret going down seems to have pushed the advantage towards Clutch Gaming, obviously with the lead, but the ability to get those forward wards down. You can see the top side of the map completely lit up like a light bright for these guys, and they have a good security system if they want to get in and out of scary positions. You see the gold between each team, about 1,000 here to spend for Jurassic as he just cleans up a few more waves. 80 carries are very even. At mid lane, quite even as well. Just a bit of a gold lead that Sun was able to surmount in the beginning of the game.
Yep, and overall the biggest advantage kind of existing in that top side. 3-0-3 by Max Trobo, doing a good job getting involved. The extra gold generation that GP gets, and he's a big force to be reckoned with now. And the side of Golden Guardians does have a slightly immobile backline. If he can find some nice double, triple barrel chains there, he can decimate them.
And it's happened. It was actually a quick turnaround. Understands the Ornn play, had a lot better game. Obviously wasn't in a Vladimir Ornn fighting matchup this time, but he did know his role to just farm that Klepto out and keep the money coming in. Now, pretty big factor for his team, being able to split push and get the damage down. Looks like here they join together a bit and continue that push at the bot side.
Here, you see the power of the unsealed spellbook for the side of Sun. He's able to take teleport, and it sets up this kind of 1-3-1 situation where Max Trobos is on cooldown, so they put him in the mid lane so he can get to a fight if it breaks out. He does have his ultimate to contribute as well, and it sets up a bit of a difficult situation for Golden Guardians who have to commit resources down the bot lane, so they're going to engage.
Forge God in. Beautiful job. They're looking for the safety. Trying to take down Vulcan immediately. That means it's going to have to be Eclipse dropping. A Cathian surprise, only delivering a bit of damage, but it is across 3 members. It doesn't mean that Clutch Gaming can initiate, though. Double kill for Bobchin.
Unfortunate situation there where they don't have their flashes available on the side of Clutch Gaming yet. Golden Guardians probably recognize that and decide to pull the trigger. The 1-1-3 setup a little bit too spread out here, and Eclipse is far forward where they know, I'm fairly certain that Moon is not nearby, so they get onto Eclipse. And with the separation that happened between him and the Tahm Kench, no one's able to save him. Moon is boxed out, Sun teleports in, it's too late. Max Trobo can't get involved due to that great Talia wall as well. A quick 2-0 for the side of Golden Guardians.
Gotta feel nice. They've been looking for position to pull the trigger, and that was definitely Clutch Gaming feeling a little too confident with the pressure they had on the map. And they're gonna have to respect that initiation.
Right, I think it's a kind of situation where the overall idea that Clutch Gaming was going for was acceptable, where you have the 1-3-1, the Malzahar can teleport, but they didn't have flashes on either of the people they left in the bot lane. And once Moon broke away from there, it was all too obvious for Golden Guardians to pull that trigger. If they played a little safer for the next 20 seconds, 30 seconds, wait for those flashes to come up, I think that was a decent lane setup.
Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yep, absolutely. That's something every League player should learn. Probably a good life lesson, too.
It's a great life lesson. Then it turns right into a better League lesson. 7,000 gold in the lead. Golden Guardians able to actually close that down just a little bit now with that bottom lane fight. And it leaves Clutch Gaming now in the position to think, how do we do that a little bit differently next time? And keep Eclipse and Vulcan alive. Those two sticking together. Knight's Vow has already been tacked on to Eclipse to keep him a little more safe. And he'll have a Locket of the Iron Solari Shield quite soon. Setting things up on the other side, we can see a few of those items being finished up by Bobchin and the rest of the team. Banshee's able to keep himself safe with a bit extra power. BF sword for Jurassic as he continues to finish those damage items.
Obviously a great influx of gold for Golden Guardians. They're helping them finish some of those items, but not quite a game changer yet. Still about over 6,000 gold lead for Clutch Gaming, so they have a little bit more leg room, breathing room, excuse me, should they make some mistakes, but you really don't want to keep letting those kinds of pickoffs happen. Clutch Gaming does have some really nice scaling, obviously, with the Kog'Maw and the Hecarim and the GP all becoming really big threats in their own right, but you don't want to allow the enemy team to get gold that you really shouldn't give up.
This game is quickly turning based obviously on the strength that we're seeing from Clutch Gaming, but the vision is snuffed out immediately as Golden Guardians tries to put it down. They're not able to kind of stave off this snowball, and here having to move so many members together at once, and they're still wary of where the opponents could be.
Yeah, you see Baron's alive, not much vision down there. They don't know where they could be. And Clutch Gaming, like we saw before, has a very, very fast Baron team. It's going to drop even faster now that they have a couple more items completed. But instead, Moon's wrapped around the flank, looking like they're hoping to bait them into a fight, opting to go for that instead of just the Baron Force, which is much safer.
They're kind of considering somebody's going to walk here. They'll ward. One person will get the catch. Almost special signing off on that one. He says, you know what? I don't need to clear wards right now. We don't have too much position here in the mid lane. And I bet you somebody was saying that Hecarim is missing. Moon is being such a nuisance that he's not showing on the map right now. They have to consider he's everywhere.
They're going to have to consider it. They're going to start the Baron off right as a blue trinket comes in, so not great timing. And the rest of Golden Guardians collapse fast enough that they're going to break off that one, but it's a resource battle. You got those off, and now Moon has the flank.
Flank and also frozen up, doesn't find too much, gets to the back line, but the back line is the front line of his, so he's really not doing too much damage. They are able to lock down Potluck, drop him out of the fight, and now they're going to deliver even more of their own damage, turning it into a true Potluck. It's now onto Jenkins, and he will be going down in the Ornn. Max Trobo doing the bit of damage. One more coming through. No, he hits the barrel. Playing a little bit of trolley game here with the black powder. But they do take him down, and they are 3 strong now over Golden Guardians, rather, on that Baron.
Right, and it was a great flank by Moon. We saw him sitting up in the jungle for a long time, waiting for Golden Guardians to step forward. The blue trinket and Baron start pull Golden Guardians down. They think they've broken out of the situation, but they have that huge flank. The ult on the side of Sejuani is really not a good usage of it. Sure, you stop this engage, but it's only momentary, and instantly as soon as that CC ends, one person, the rest of your team is not in range to do damage to him while he CCs, so it's only delaying the inevitable. GP has a great ultimate here on multiple members, burning all of them down. Potluck slightly too far forward now. Easy focus for the Malzahar. A great barrel also by Max Trobo onto Jurassic, got him pretty low, and after that, it's all too easy for the side of Clutch Gaming to continue winning that fight. Jenkins, you know, puts up a good fight, but at the end of the day, you're Ornn versus 4 people.
And the Ornn pick getting cut down now for the first time here in the Academy League. Like you said, it wasn't all flowers and rainbows in every league across the League of Legends. And here we actually seeing it take a little bit of a tumble.
Yeah, it's a champion that I think people might be overrating a little bit. It is obviously powerful and probably one of the premier tanks in the top lane, but you do need to make things happen with it. Yeah. And you can look at potentially, was the grasp the right rune keystone choice? Perhaps not, and it's now snowballed to the point where they're trying to push down this inhibitor.
Wall goes up, Paul the Forge God goes in, and it looks like they have the mid in bot lane here. Sun goes down, Moon as well, and stars are falling out of the sky here. Eclipse in a very good spot, and he could overshadow the fight if he stays in a good position. At 14 and 7, they are able to take down the inhibitor turret, and now they are starting to crack more of the base.
At this point, Eclipse is a monster. He has a ton of items completed, and while that was a great chain CC combination by the front line on the side of Golden Guardians, you did not end up taking down the Kog'Maw, and at this point, it's too little too late. And you can see the idea here of how powerful Golden Guardians team comp can be. You wall someone off, Ornn kicks it off with his ultimate, the Brittle gets applied, you also have the knockups coming in as well from the Braum ultimate. So much CC that it's almost impossible for Sun and Moon to move, but Eclipse is alive.
The Sun doesn't move.
I mean, maybe in the system of the solar system, I'm pretty sure.
You're not supposed to explain it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. 32 minutes in, so we get back on track here. Very well-oiled machine for Clutch Gaming as they bring out a pretty strong early game, figure out a way to stave off what Golden Guardians was doing in the beginning. And now running down mid, Moon having a great game here on the Heck Room as he kind of left it to be a last to pick. Wasn't worried about getting banned out.
And we finally see the unsealed spellbook at work.
There it is.
Swaps to the exhaust.
Yeah. Why not? I guess it works. You just want to fight more. Get in there and you can stay longer.
Sure. You know.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's great.
He's looked good this game. I'm not gonna throw. not sold on it, but
it's one of those. There's probably better, but it's great.
As long as you win.
7-1 in turrets, which that gold as well just means so much in items here for Clutch Gaming. It also means Golden Guardians has a lot of gold to pick up on the map, but they are not going to be able to leave their base as they get into the fight. It's Moon first, and he looks to take quite a bit of damage here. Does not go down just yet. Potluck able to take him out, but so many resources were used that Clutch Gaming is always getting something else, even if they're losing just a little bit.
Yeah, just too far behind here on the side of Golden Guardians. Moon trades his life out after he sees Jurassic pop his ultimate a little bit early, but it doesn't matter that you're trading your Hecarim out for the enemy AD carry. Eclipse gets chunked out a little bit, but he's perfectly fine, and him and Sun are able to take their second inhibitor of the game before rotating up to the top side to continue this push.
Out to the high side. See what they can do here. Special. Just trying to taunt a little bit. You get in front of the turret, say we can kind of jockey around for positioning, but it doesn't look like Clutch Gaming is giving much consideration to any positioning here for Golden Guardians. They continue to push through, and they'll CC whatever target is right in front of them, until it goes down, I should say.
Yeah, and they're able to stand strong enough to force them away from the inhibitor, but the turret did go down. Gonna see a quick reset here on Clutch Gaming before moving back up to the top side.
And even to say, hey, we can do that without Moon. These guys, they're feeling good. Like, we can stay.
He's one of the few true frontline members here, him and Vulcan. So obviously he's more than capable of pushing through with only the Vulcan alive.
Kind of went for, he's Cinderhulk with Triforce, but then back into the armor. So he kind of had that moment of, I'm huge, but now I can be that frontline tank again.
Yeah, I think
it's so great.
Yeah, it's something that Hecarim does very well with his base damage. Is you get that Triforce, and you're generally fine to build relatively tanky the rest of the way. Like we knew with the game playing in the top lane, not particularly tanky. You know, probably index a little bit more into tankiness than he would do in other situations, and that's what can make Hecarim a great pick is some of the flexibility, but he did have a pretty good early game. Nothing happened, which is ideal that we were saying for this team comp, where they didn't have much pressure anywhere but mid lane at 6. And then even after the first 2 ganks didn't work mid lane, the rest of Golden Guardians hadn't actually pulled the trigger on anything yet. So they played this game probably too slow, all things considered, as the GP scaled, the Kog'Maw scaled, and the Hecarim scaled.
And the hits on Bobchin finally started coming through one after the other as well. Sun had flash up, Moon was there again, and Bobchin went from a very even lane to quite behind. Here, Moon feels pretty aggressive and good enough to get into the fight. Nice block off by Bobchin. I don't know if they can deliver the damage though. Moon right over the wall to help the team on the front side, and Vulcan on the back side. Sun and Eclipse trying to fire in here. They're just getting an acquired taste for Jenkins right now, forcing the flashes on the other side of Golden Guardians. But it's the fight that they were focusing on. The minions are doing the work so far, and they're looking to put the final touches on the base, but very, very careful about it on the side of Clutch Gaming. Yeah,
Moon went down in that engage. It was a really nice setup once again by Golden Guardians. The wall putting 3 people into a corner, which leads to very easy Ornn and Braum ultimates that stack up and keep people locked down, allowing them to kill Moon and get out alive. And while the inhibitor does drop, they do stay alive. Double Nexus turrets still available, so a bit of a better position than we saw in Game 1.
These fights are getting a lot longer here for Golden Guardians. You got the Warmog being built up, as well as the Adaptive Helm to help from continuous Melzahar damage. It's basically just Eclipse that's going to be chewing through these guys, and we see the fights lasting a little too long for him now.
Yeah, I mean, you factor in the CC, if they're able to land on Eclipse, that's DPS downtime, and so that's what's allowing Golden Guardians to find these kills. They're going to have to clean this up a little bit here on the side of Clutch Gaming if they really want to finish this one off, but they have such a map advantage now. With that goal lead, it's very difficult to see them losing this game.
A 12-second Baron should be a sweep up, maybe even. They don't know that Golden Guardians have left their base, so this would just be a fight they don't even need. Go ahead and get the vision necessary if they do want to go for it. A pick or back to Baron. Looks like it could be the pick. Yo moves on. If they can get a slowdown from the barrel, it is onto Special, as they have the call for Jenkins coming over from the top. Whoa, flash forward onto Potluck, one of the tankiest members on the team as well. Call the Forge God. Going just a little bit wide, hitting onto Moon. It looks like they're able to get that damage in. A quite a bit of miscommunication there from Clutch Gaming. Unless that's what they wanted, and it was just a little interesting.
I would hope that was not exactly what they wanted. That did not turn out so well. Very touch-and-go fight there,
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
Sun ends up way ahead of his team, loses his flash, needs the Tahm Kench to come in and save him from getting CC'd back on. Moon is not actually in position where he's been flanking great all game in these more open fights, but not quite set there. So by the time he's trying to come in, Orin's ult dissuades him. And Clutch Gaming have to disengage here. Might lose their mid-turret for it.
I was going to say, this would be a perfect time if they would be able to rope Golden Guardians around because of the minions in the base. But like you said, all that map pressure just lost. They got to rethink the situation now. And it might be just another Baron. 2 of those vision wards down for complete denial if one gets taken out. But it is a 50-50 mark.
Yeah, and this is looks like the teleport's going to come in a little late unless Clutch Gaming slows the Baron damage down, which they do. It's now a 5v5 standoff yet again, but they did get the teleport out.
Another minion wave going into the base with super minions that will take down that left Nexus turret. The teleport in from Max Trobo to the wave. They're definitely getting a Nexus turret out of this, and it will call members back. 2 turrets go down at the same time, and Max Trobo looking to get the back door. Not even a back door. He went right into the front on the TP as Golden Guardians was trying to stop the Baron attempt. Max Trobo with the final hit. Clutch Gaming picks up the victory.
All right, that's a different way to end the game. Nice teleport backdoor there. After getting the Orns out, he swaps places with him. He's not there to defend. Able to push down both Nexus turrets and the Nexus by himself.
How dangerous, and what a game for Max Trobo to actually come through from yesterday's position against a Vlad Orn to his now GP Orn game. Night and day, and he really helped the team from the top lane this time.
Right, absolutely, and it wasn't just that final play there. Well, that's obviously a highlight play. He also was able to influence 2 lanes at once while roaming as a GP, which is something you just never see. So a monster performance here out of Max Trobo.
Absolutely. Let's actually get that last replay up. I know it just happened, but it's always worth another watch here on the screen to see all this pressure going in, and then see you later. And he was almost in range too. If one of them flashed forward to hit, could have been anything.
I think it was the kind of thing where it felt like Golden Guardians lost track of him here. They see, you know, the teleport starts coming in, and they ping assist me on the minimap, I think. That's their ping going down. They're pinging that he's going there, and they completely evacuate the Baron, but it's just too late. They have so far to travel. Their recalls are not that fast. He drops the ultimate to stop the Xayah. Talia's doing her best to get in range. Maybe could have ulted earlier if that's up, but it's too little, too late. And Max Trobo decides, hey, I'm going to end the game right now.
Great little thoughts as well coming in, kind of taking a position for the team from the sub roster too. So showing some nice things with the pressure on. Yeah,
that's exactly what you want to see out of these young guys, that they not only have the intelligence to find plays like that, but, you know, the gall to go for it. And that was a very big play, kind of the thing that you really look bad if it doesn't work out, but he pulled it off perfectly.
Yeah, we'll look at another replay here. 29-30 in. A CLG solidified a lead with Baron at the 30-minute mark. And this one, you kind of just wonder, are they going to go for it? Are they tempting the fight? And it was always Clutch at this point tempting the fight. They were kind of behind the calls of Moon here.
Yeah, very intelligent shot calling overall. Bait them into the Baron so that they're exposed to give Moon the flank. He was never even close to the Baron, so it wasn't really what they were focusing. Causes panic on the side of Golden Guardians. Throw that ult way too early at Moon. Potluck ends up on the other side of the fight now. Too far forward, gets suppressed. Max Trobo gets some good damage there onto Jurassic to set the kill up for Eclipse, and then after this, it's just the fight's completely broken down. People flashing over the wall, trying to live. Jenkins does his best to fight. He's able to get that shield up, live a little longer, but too little, too late.
Too bad he couldn't make a GA right there.
Yeah, just buy it in the shop real quick.
Whole thing. Well, at once. Let me use the coupon.
Yeah, then you get up and die again.
So looking at actually what is kind of coming from these games, obviously mentioning last game, it was Acadian, LCS jungler in the jungle, but here's Moon, somebody who is on that academy team and will stay there that's been in the LCS, and you see that veteran history coming through for there, pushed down to the Hecarim, didn't care, still something he plays.
And you have to imagine that some of that shot calling was Moon saying, you know, I'm going to sit here in their jungle until they misposition.
Right.
Okay, they're not mispositioning. Go to the Baron, force them to come to us, and then I'll have the flank. And, you know, that's really good shot calling. That's the stuff you want to see more of. As you play more difficult opponents, they don't fall prey to the same, you know, problems necessarily. And it's this kind of thing where what looks like great shot calling becomes more difficult as the competition levels up. But already here, Moon showing that he can lead a young team to victory.
And it seems like having it just, I mean, this is any level of league, with that prowess in the jungle to control an early game, a voice that sees the entire map coming from that other support is usually what you love to have. And we talk about, again, the other game, jungle support synergy, just continues to play in.
Yeah, absolutely. And playing to your win conditions, knowing that they had to target that mid lane.
Yep.
And once they broke it down, how much easier the game became because Bob Chin on the Talia could no longer push up as safely. And anytime he came a little bit forward, you had the, Malzahar Hecarim combo there to delete him.
Golden Guardians as well, as we close out here, finding a little bit of the same they did against Cloud9 Academy, a mid-game kind of back and forth. Hopefully they can shore those up as they continue throughout the season. There is more league action coming up after the break. We'll return with Game 4 of the night with Echo Fox Academy versus FlyQuest.